if there are women out there that are thinking about making a transition into a different career, I think real estate is an amazing opportunity, but you can't do it part-time well.
Sure, right.
So put yourself in a position to where you can make that jump and you have some savings, you have some money to invest into the business and to pay your bills still.
Right.
Because you're 30 in a perfect world, you're 30 days away from a paycheck any day in real estate, right?
Okay.
So you have to plan for that. But also align yourself with a team leader or a mentor or broker that can help guide you for long-term success.
Right.
Not just trying to pad their roster.
Right. Welcome to the Collective Mic, the podcast where women leaders get loud about what really matters. I'm your host, Joyce Tody, founder of Collective Women's Leadership. We are not here for fluff. We're here to lead, build, and rise together. Whether you're climbing the corporate ladder, building your own brand, or redefining leadership on your terms, this mic is for you. So let's get into it. She is a proud member, as all of you know, of Collective Women's Leadership and a mentor. Also, she just finished, we launched our 6th module on our Collective Women's Leadership app, and she taught us all about emotional intelligence. So, Stephanie, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for doing the Collective Mic podcast.
Of course.
You have been a member of Collective Women's Leadership since the inception. And a lot of our audience has gotten to know you a little bit with your funny reels, and they've seen your face. So now this is really a chance for our members and our followers on all of social media to really get to know who Stephanie is. I think, part of us launching this podcast is for our audience to get to know us a little bit more. It's hard for them to build a relationship with us on a funny reel of you maybe falling down or skipping along the way or spilling coffee, right? All of those fun things.
All of the things that we do.
But Stephanie has a badass career that spanned over 2 decades here in Las Vegas. She is a Las Vegas native.
I am.
And tell us about your real estate journey.
Absolutely. I'm excited to. So like you said, I've been doing real estate for over 20 years now here in Las Vegas, which is my hometown, and very, very proud to be representing buyers and sellers in my hometown every day.
So what led you, I know you went away for your undergrad to Penn State.
I did. Yes, I'm a Nittany Lion.
Yes, you are. And then you came back. Were you always interested in real estate? What got you into real estate?
I was. So actually I started as an assistant to for a top producing female agent here in Las Vegas who's still very active and I would consider to be my first mentor in the business. I was still in high school when I was working for her, and I graduated high school early, so I got to be with her full time up until I left for college for that when everybody else was still in school, their second semester in high school, and I got to learn all kinds of stuff, and it was so interesting to me, but I had a plan. I was leaving, so I left for Pennsylvania and started my journey I thought I was going to be a journalist.
Okay.
And so that's what I studied, but every summer or holiday break I came home, I would go visit her or work for her for a couple weeks again. And over the several years I was in college, I really watched the market change. And so when I graduated, I came back to Las Vegas and I said, well, I'm not sure I love journalism the way I thought I would. And I didn't really want to, if I'm being very honest, I didn't want to start in some crap market for no money. And I watched the market really, really shift in the years that I were away. And I said, well, I think this is what I want to do. So I worked for that agent again. And at that time, she was developing a team. And I helped put in some back-end system processes for her and her team because at this point it was 2003 and the market was really just ramping up for the big boom. And so I worked for her and then I got hired with another team and that was 22 years ago.
Wow. So you started selling on your own in 2003?
2003 I started. So I got hired as a team manager and had to get my license in order to accept that position. So I got licensed, and then I started doing general sales as well as building a team. I was recruiting agents and putting in back-end systems and processes for major growth.
Major growth.
Major
For those
growth.
of you who are young listening to us, or those of you who are older listening to us, in the early 2000s, before the '08 crash, Stephanie was here ramping up her business and was probably seeing a lot of success at a very young age, very quickly.
Yes, a ton. And,
And you thought it would
almost
last
too
forever,
easy. Yes.
right? Said, wow, this real estate thing is really great.
You could trip on a deal at the grocery store in 03, 04, 05, basically. And then things started to get a little spicy in 2007. And then, of course, the crash happened in 2008. And we've learned many lessons since then. But at that time, I was managing. We started off with 6 agents in 03. And by the middle of 04, we were over 100 agents in 2 locations.
Wow.
So it was a lot. It was a lot of, handling the agents, their deals, their clients, my own growth, and huge, drastic shifts in market conditions.
I think you have a lot to share with our audience. Obviously, we speak to a lot of women, and we help women around the world with day-to-day problems, whether they're in corporate America, whether they're in real estate, all of the different professions that all of the women who follow us have. But I think it would be important to tap into your experience as a young real estate salesperson. Everything was, like you said earlier, you could trip over a deal in Las Vegas in the early 2000s. And I'm sure there were a lot of realtors coming on board at that time. But it wasn't probably until the crash and you truly facing adversity, not only as a young realtor, as a woman, and now you're learning these lessons. So walk us through, as you look back now, right, all of your wealth of knowledge and all of the things that you've seen the markets go through, kind of your biggest learnings when we face such adversity, something so drastic in your career.
Oh, there's a lot of layers to that. I mean, it's interesting. I'm in a career where 80% of agents are women, but
so it is female dominated.
It is female dominated.
Okay.
However, people in, company owners and, trade organization leadership and presidents and, larger positions are still men.
Okay.
Right. And so it's wonderful for me to be involved with organizations like CWL, and I'm also a member of the Women's Council of Realtors who also focus on bringing women up in the industry. I have a team of women that work for me. I have an all-female real estate team, which is my goal and my dedication is to bring, just like I had a mentor in the business who brought me up, I want to bring up other women behind me. But, I think any woman in any field experiences a certain, that moment where it's like, oh, I didn't get this because of, their thoughts about women, or I'm too young and I don't have the credibility or anything like that. And so we have to fight that in any industry. I very specifically had a client that I showed property to. It was a family. They were wonderful. They were beautiful. We had, I thought a really great connection, showed many homes to over the course of 3 or 4 days. This is early in my career. And when it came time to write an offer, the husband said to me, I'm not comfortable with a woman handling my negotiations.
Whoa.
Yes.
What?
And I was like, oh. And I was so taken aback by it because I had never, one, been told anything so blatant, and two, I was already managing 100 agents. So anybody on my team, 90% of the men on my team, if they had a question, they were going to come to me anyway.
Sure. Right.
So I had to turn it over to a man on my team.
Wow.
And I guided the transaction from the back seat.
Right.
But so it was a lesson where it was hard. It was definitely difficult, but I couldn't let my emotion take over. and just flip the table and walk away completely. I referred it to somebody, and at the end of the transaction, that agent was very kind and even told the client, Stephanie's the one that really got us to the finish line, just so everybody's clear on that. But sometimes you just can't argue with people's opinions.
Would that happen today?
I don't think so. I think I would have.
You think we're over that?
I think we're past that to a certain extent, but I also think I would handle it differently, and I don't think I would keep it in-house. I think I would just say, listen, and I have a different way of doing a buyer intake now, where I would never have spent 4 days with somebody who really thought that, because I can take control of my time much better now than when I did when I started out.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully we're over the I don't feel comfortable with a woman doing my deals. I hope.
Yeah, I hope.
And I hope.
I think we're
in all things.
I hope so.
Not just in real estate.
Yeah.
In all things, negotiation of any business transaction.
Yeah.
I hope we're over that, and I think we are. I haven't heard that in a long time.
I haven't felt that in a long time, which is a good which is a good sign.
Yeah.
But
sure.
Who knows? It wasn't that long ago.
Interesting.
In the grand scheme of things.
Not true.
20
Very
years.
True. So back to the lesson. So that's one piece of kind of wow, hurt, sting, where a male says, I'm not comfortable. But then you were so used to, in those years leading up to the crash, of just tripping over rocks and deals falling into your lap. So when the bottom fell out in 2008 and everything stopped, and foreclosures were like tripping over a rock every which direction, and short sales, and you weren't selling. How did you stay the course? Because you've never left the real estate industry.
And that's actually when I was busiest.
Oh, wow. Okay.
In terms of number of transactions, the short sale era, I had, 2007, it was like the record stopped. Nothing was moving. It was so quiet, which was so eerie, coming off of insane, unsustainable activity.
Right.
And so when the crash happened, when the first part of the crash happened in 2008, and everybody thought, oh my gosh, that's the worst we've ever seen. And then, several months later, it happened again, and the bottom really fell out. I realized right then and there that it can't just be about helping people find a house that they like. You have to be an educator. You have to be knowledgeable on the market, knowledgeable on the economy. You have to be a resource for everything at that time. And so I dedicated so much time and was handling short sales and developing short sale systems and creating a platform where I could we represented banks and foreclosures, but also individual homeowners in short sales, which was very stressful for them. But I just created an opportunity to where we had to be their resource, and we had to get them through a very trying, uncertain time.
Right. Yeah, that's really hard. The power of the pivot you learned very young.
Very young, yes.
So there was something you could do that was also sustainable and helpful in terms of building the relationships, pivoting into leadership and mentorship. So beyond your role as an agent, right, segueing into what you had just said, you've managed over 100 realtors at top Las Vegas firms. What motivated you to take on a leadership role within your industry? Because it is so easy to be a top realtor who doesn't have to manage agents.
Yes, it is, and it would take a lot less time probably, but I think that there's so much value in giving back. I'm very committed to my clients, and I can't be as committed to them if I'm not as committed to the industry. So making sure that the agents that I work alongside with every day have the same dedication to working fairly and honestly, and really just making Las Vegas a priority, making the community itself a priority, and the people that we service a priority. And so that's really the driving force. And it's really, selfishly, it's very satisfying to be guiding younger agents, younger in the business, not necessarily in age, but newer in the business, and being able to have, a role in their transactions. And their clients and so on and so forth. I joke all the time, the agents that I manage, I call them my kids. And then now they have teams. And so I call them my grandkids.
That's
and
so cute.
And then all of their clients are some of my extended family.
Right.
And so it's, for a relationship-based business, I have it. I'm in the best position because I have the most connections now.
Right, which is wonderful.
Yeah.
What advice would you have for any young graduate coming up who wants to pursue real estate? So that's the first question.
Okay.
It is a double question because there are a lot of women who are burned out in corporate America and who are really great with client relations and want to pivot into real estate. And your advice to them. And it might be the same and it might be different. So we'll start with the younger graduates of real estate school coming out and your advice to them.
Stop watching reality TV.
Right.
Would be my number one advice.
Yeah, let's start with that.
Because it is not a true picture of what we really do in our business. It's very fun, and
we love their style and their clothes.
Yes,
all the things,
the amazing,
homes.
gorgeous homes that you get to tour. But 99% of what we do is just not that sexy. It's not. It's doing the same thing over and over again. It's creating, again, systems and processes that are going to bring you through every market turn. It's more about putting systems and processes in play that will bring you through every market shift. So it's kind of boring if you are looking at the reality TV example, but it's really important for you to understand that this is a business. You have to treat it like a business. You have to have a business plan. You have to have a budget. You have to have the organizational hierarchy that any business has, even if that's just one person. If you're self-employed and you don't have assistants and you don't have all of that, then you have to be the operations manager one day, right? The sales force the next day, and you have to have a schedule for that. So
do they teach you all of this in real estate school?
Not at all.
Exactly. So that's what I wanted to get into, right?
They teach you how to pass the test.
Just to learn the laws of real estate, what you can and cannot do.
Yes.
Right.
And even then, it's so general that, I took the test 20-some years ago. I'm not even sure I could pass the test again if I sat down today to do it, because it's nothing that we use every day.
Right.
Other than the state law that you have to stay on top of. But all the national stuff and sectioning out land and how many, miles in an acre. Nobody uses that.
No, that's not how you sell a home.
That's not how you sell a home.
So within the technical school aspect, they're just learning how to not get in trouble.
Yep.
And how to complete a deal without being sued, hopefully.
Not even,
Maybe.
It's not even that specific. It's literally questions to pass the test, and then you're done.
But what I'm hearing is they have to really understand the business side, and more importantly, get a mentor.
Get a mentor.
Let's talk about the importance of
Yes.
mentorship.
Yes.
In real estate, as we talk about the importance of mentorship in any category. And what I hear more and more very successful women talk about with younger people entering these really glamorous careers or industries, there's nothing glamorous about anything. You have to work and grind. And if anyone tells you the grind is out, they're full of shit. Anyway,
Agreed.
There is nothing glamorous if you want to be successful. It takes a lot of work. And you have to put all your reps in and grind it out day in and day out and day in and day out to finally find some success and to really feel like you know what you're doing.
Yes. And that takes years.
Were there times, I go back to the crash because I think it was a pivotal growth moment for you, but were there times during that adversity that you felt like you didn't know what the hell you were doing?
Constantly.
After the crash, right? Because you were selling, right? Then you became busy in a different way. And were you second guessing yourself? Like, do I know what I'm doing?
Absolutely. And there was a lot more like delayed success there, right? It took 6, 7, 8 months to close a short sale
instead of
versus
30-day
the
close
10
cash,
days before,
right? All
of those things. And so it was just very different, and you had to look at your business model from like this macro point of view and say, okay, if I'm going to succeed in this, I need to be doing more deals, which means I need to be prospecting more hours, or I need to be, on the phone in sections and doing open houses at other times, right? You had to have more organization. It was no more like boom,
Right.
boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
And so we saw a lot of people get out of the business then.
I think they still do jump in and jump out.
Absolutely.
It's very interesting.
We're at a very similar time right now in the market to where people got in, we call it the COVID effect, right? Nobody knew what COVID would do for our market. And at first, everyone was like, oh, everything's going to crash again. Oh my gosh, get on board. And then we've never been busier, right? 20, 21, 22. And so the agents that got in the business in those years are now starting to feel that struggle again because things are slowed. Inventory is back up. Demand is down. We have a lot of different market things happening, that it's not easy. It's not easy, but it's not complicated.
Right.
It requires hard work.
Anything requires hard work.
Yes.
Kids. You talked about the advice you would give the young up-and-comers. What advice would you give mid-career level woman who cannot and does not want to stay in corporate anymore because she feels as though she's plateaued and sees at times maybe the glamorous side, but she's old and wise enough to know that it takes hard work. What advice do you have for those who want to make the real estate industry their second or third career?
So a lesson that I learned myself even is just betting on yourself is always the way to go, right? I always had these safety nets in place. Instead of going right into sales, I went into management first because I thought I needed a paycheck. And then I realized when I came away from management and I started my own team, it's like I can be so much more profitable. I can make so much more money because I'm in control of my time instead of punching a clock 9 to 5 and then doing real estate for myself outside of that. I can just really dedicate time block and focus on money producing activities and then bringing up some agents with me. So if there are women out there that are thinking about making a transition into a different career, I think real estate is an amazing opportunity, but you can't do it part-time well.
Sure, right.
So put yourself in a position to where you can make that jump and you have some savings, you have some money to invest into the business and to pay your bills still.
Right.
Because you're 30 in a perfect world, you're 30 days away from a paycheck any day in real estate, right?
Okay.
So you have to plan for that. But also align yourself with a team leader or a mentor or broker that can help guide you for long-term success.
Right.
Not just trying to pad their roster.
Right. I want to move into your client-centered approach.
Sure.
I think this is a really big deal, and I don't feel as though it's talked enough about in any industry. But I do know that those who are always client-focused succeed more and rise to the top because you can really feel that there's a difference. So your philosophy emphasizes being an educator rather than a salesperson, which I think is huge and truly a game changer and has set you apart. How do you ensure your clients are well informed and confident throughout the buying or selling process as that educator?
I mean, it comes down to knowing the market, knowing the trends, and being able to give them the best advice. Oftentimes, the best advice to one of my clients is don't make a move right now. It's not the right time for you to sell, or it's not the right time for you to buy. It's not about me just getting another transaction. It's about setting them up for success. And if that means waiting 2 years or 3 years, I think that advice and them trusting that it's not self-serving really helps build that relationship forever.
I agree.
I have forever clients because of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you share a memorable experience where a transaction was on the line and it wasn't the right time, and that really was an eye-opening experience for you in terms of changing your client's perspective? I'm sure you have many.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. Off the top of my head, I have a client. They're older and wonderful, and I love them. They wanted to buy a very large home because she wanted these great views. And we looked at smaller, more manageable properties, and then we found this very large home with the view that they wanted. And this was when inventory was so tight. We could barely find anything that fit their needs. And she just wanted to move heaven and earth to exceed their budget, to take on this huge property. And we had to sit down, and I said, you know, I don't want to use their names, but right. I said, let's think about this. You're in your 80s, right? Oh. Your children don't live right next to you anymore.
Yeah, sure.
So who's going to take care of this lawn? Who's going to take care of everything? I know that you want a house right now, but give me time to find you a smaller, more manageable property still with this mountain view. And it took a year for me to find them exactly what they wanted. And I talked them out of a house that was $300,000 more than what they ended up buying, you know? And so, but it made more sense for them.
Right. And I'm sure they were very grateful for that.
Very grateful. Very grateful.
We'll do a fun quick fire round about things in real estate. So your favorite neighborhood in Las Vegas currently?
Oh, that's so hard.
Are realtors allowed to say that? I don't even know.
I mean, I can say what I have favorites for different reasons. I still love old vintage Vegas feel. So if that is the goal, I love Rancho Circle or McNeil Estates in the Scotch 80s. Like those are just the coolest, some of the most unique houses in Las Vegas. But as far as a more suburban, elevated luxury feel, I don't think you can have any better than McDonald Highlands. It's the best strip views in town, and I'm partial to Henderson.
There you go. Exactly. One piece of advice for first-time homebuyers.
I would say buy the plan, not the house, right? So the plan for a first-time homebuyer is to enter into homeownership.
Okay.
It's to start taking the first step to building wealth.
Okay.
And sometimes that comes as sacrificing a few things that you think you want in the beginning.
Right.
So making the budget work for what you need right now, not necessarily, I don't want these granite counters, or I don't, and it's hard for a first-time home buyer because that's all their money right then and there. And they want it to be 10 out of 10 on their list, but we need to get you in the plan first.
Right. Most rewarding aspect of your job?
100% the relationships.
Yeah, I love that.
Yes.
A book or resource you recommend to aspiring real estate professionals?
Oh, real estate professionals, anybody, any human should read The Go-Giver.
Oh, The Go-Giver is fantastic.
Yes, it is the absolute best.
Love that. How do you unwind after a busy day or week in real estate?
Well, I mean, there's no really turning it off.
No,
but
there is definitely not.
There's a good thing about that too, because I can do my work from out of town or from home,
anywhere,
or you know, at family events. But so I have to be mindful of that balance. But in order to completely unwind, I mean, I just maybe turn my phone off for a couple hours, spend some time with my husband, see my dogs.
Your dogs?
Yes, my dogs.
Your great little doggies.
I have my senior dog assisted living scene at my house right now.
Yes.
So
it's very cute. I want to talk about the power of mentorship and collective women's leadership for a little while. So I had introduced you to a mentee, Brittany, in California. So we at Collective Women's Leadership also mentor a lot of women around the country who do not necessarily live in Las Vegas. And we have experts on our team. So Brittany came to us and really wanted to be an interior designer, and we set her up with Robin. And she had a real life conversation with Robin about what interior design is and what it is not. And she did decide to go back to her passion of real estate and walk us through, a little bit about that story unfolding, because I think it's so powerful in terms of collectively what we do at Collective Women's Leadership, and the power in our resources is really unbelievable.
It is.
And you are a huge aspect in that, and you love the mentorship aspect. So walk us through your time with Brittany.
Sure. So I met Brittany via Zoom before she even took her test, and helped her prepare for after she took her test. I said, you just need to study, you need to do all of this, but let's put together a goal sheet for when you pass, and that included finding what brokerage she was going to affiliate with. She's in a market different than mine, so I didn't have any recommendations for her, but I just gave her some things to think about. I asked her what was important to her, what she really wanted, and she came up with some great options, and she found a brokerage in California that met her needs. And since then, she has passed her test. She's already closed a couple transactions. She's doing open houses. She's prospecting. She's building her social media profile and presence. Thank you. And she's doing great. But we have monthly, if not bi-monthly, check-ins.
Great.
And look, a lot of what I do is just I listen to what she talks about, and I maybe give 2 to 3 pieces of advice.
Right.
It's not about me running Brittany's business, because Brittany's business is very different than my business.
Right.
We have different goals.
Yeah.
You know, we have...
And she's very new.
She's very new.
Different. Yeah.
But it's so fun to see her find success with her roadmap.
Right.
Which is very different than mine.
Yeah.
And I just love being a part of that. And that's why I just really love CWL, because it gives us an opportunity to share our knowledge and watch other people come up with success.
Right. Absolutely. So if you're anywhere in the country or anywhere in the world, well, anywhere in the country, not anywhere in the world, but Stephanie is one hell of a real estate agent, but more of a mentor, truly, and educator in this space. If you know of anyone who is looking to get in the real estate business, know anyone who's stuck, know anyone who is transitioning into that or questioning that, you can always look us up on collectivewomensleadership.com and schedule a call with Stephanie. She is a plethora of information. You see her all the time on everything else that we do. One last question, and I really want to recognize this because I think it's so awesome. You've been recognized as one of the top 40 under 40 by the Young Professionals Network of Greater Las Vegas. You were in that. You also just received another award, a few weeks ago? And the technical term, what was the technical award?
The top 25 women in real estate.
That's insane. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So all of these accolades, what does this recognition mean to you, and how has it impacted your career?
So, I mean, as far as getting the awards, it's not as important to me to have that sort of external validation. These are trade organizations within the industry, and I'm very honored to have been given them. But, you know, more so what it gives me is just that confirmation that I'm giving to my clients and to my industry as well. And so I participate on committees within the Association of Realtors. I'm actively involved on our political action committee, you know, advocating and lobbying for private property rights. And so these awards are kind of the bridge between my client involvement and my industry involvement. And so it's definitely something I am proud of.
Good. You should be.
Thank you.
You're off. If you liked today's episode, please like, comment, and subscribe. And Stephanie, how can people find you besides collectivewomensleadership.com? That's very easy.
Sure. You can find me on Instagram. I'm sdibby, DSDIBBY, or at my website. It's LasVegasHomeDreamTeam.com.
Perfect. I hope you loved this episode as much as I did. For more tips on elevating your leadership, please follow us on Instagram, Collective Women's Leadership, or visit our website, collectivewomensleadership.com. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.